Well, welcome to this workshop regarding gigapanography. Back about 10 years ago, I was invited to go to Carnegie Mellon University and the robotics convention and to make a presentation about using gigapanography in the social and the legal environment. And so I did, and this website and workshop is a result of the 10 years worth of creating gigapans, which we're going to delve into. Over here, and this is our URL for the workshop presentation, so I invite you to go to that if you haven't. And there's lots of resources here for you to use in addition to this video that I'm creating of the workshop itself. And on the side menu over here, we have how to hold the camera as an example, the Microsoft Image Composite software that will bring together and stitch together all of your individual pictures you take for the gigapan. It's free software from Microsoft. There's image compositing on the Mac, different options if you have a Macintosh. This is for the Windows machines. Individual photos that are to be stitched together. You have an example here. Gigapan images to explore. Lots of them here. We'll look at a few, but take your time and explore all these gigapan images. How to go about uploading gigapans. There's a free program that you can download from the gigapan.com website and upload your gigapans to share with the world. Gigapans and architecture, what is a pixel? Resources to download and review. This is like a file cabinet of resources you can download. A little bit about the ice stitching from a video. So you can stitch actually from a video that you've done. It's not as detailed as a regular gigapan, but it's an option. Library programs that I have been presenting. University presentations that I've been presenting. A video illustrating the use of a gigapan about the 1904 fair. I went to the Missouri History Research and Archive Library and digitized some of their glass plate 8x10 negatives, was able to concatenate about 4 of them into a gigapan image that was taken at the fair. The gigapan robot, what it's all about. You don't need that to make gigapans, but if you want one, they are for sale. From the Gigapan website and other websites as well. Photoshop 360s from your Gigapan, so you can make a 360 panorama. And this is a little description about how to go about doing that. The Gigapan membership is free. If you go to gigapan.com and register, you get a free membership, and you can upload just about as many Gigapans as you want to, and you can actually have your gigapans for sale there. And then this is a paper I wrote for Carnegie Mellon University when I was out there 10 years ago. You can read it over. And gigapan taken on Mars. These robots that you can purchase in a form are on the Mars rovers, and they're making gigapans, and there's one here you can look at. Gigapans of the world's cities, a really good click here to go out and look at and explore the cities of the world using these detailed images. So anyway, this is the home page, and you can see this is our a URL to some other programs I do in addition to the Gigapan workshop. Below is a link of a gigapan of a shop in Paris by the Seine River that I did. It has over 4,000 views, and you can kind of zoom in on all the materials that were for sale there in that particular riverside sale place. And then this little information about myself, my email. We do programs for photo clubs, art museums, science museum, universities, and public and private schools, scouts, homeschoolers, artists associations, libraries, and churches. I also use this technology for various events and companies like the Gateway Harmonica Club, the Society for the Preservation and Advancement of Harmonicas, the World's Fair Society, family reunions, and more. Now, see how this new technology enables peoples of the nations of the world to share their place and culture with one and all, and help us better understand and appreciate each other, and have your group photo taken by the Gigapan photographic robot while you hold up a picture of your heritage. So here's a Gigapan I created at the St. Charles Catherine Linneman Library on June 8, 2011 that you could go to. And you can click here for more Gigapan examples. So this special program is for camera clubs, schools, etc., to help you learn how to basically create these images without having to have the robot itself. And then the Gigapan website is gigapan.org or gigapan.com for examples other people have been putting up. So let's take a look, first of all, about how to hold a camera to go ahead and create these Gigapans. If you don't have the robot, you still can do them. You can do it without a tripod. And so I've got a couple videos here that you can look at. I wanted to show this one to you, so I'm going to play this video. And I've got a couple frames here to illustrate how you overlap the images when you're taking your photographs. Little exercise. I want to show you. There's a panorama back here. Beginning up on high in a tower at the World's Fair in 1904. If I had a camera, I want to zoom in on the various sections and then overlap these images in our stitching software. What I would do is, first of all, zoom in on, let's say, this section. Right, about that much. Take that picture, and I make sure that I was on camera, and overlap it one third. Then overlap the next image, that. Then I get back to the first column, and I can try to remember where I actually overlap. Come back and do the next column, overlap again. Overlapping on the previous column. Okay, so that's basically, you can watch that later as well. And I wanted to show you probably one of the most astounding Gigapans that's been used for auctions, just to give you a practical use of them. And then this is a video that where you can, I'm not going to do it now, but you click on it and you can see how this incredible Gigapan was used at an auction site to help people zoom in on the detail. And then when you are wanting to use the stitching software, you can come to the this link here. This is ICE, Microsoft Image Composite Editor, and basically this is a video that explains and goes through the exact procedure of how to use that software. So I'm not going to play that right now, but you can come back to the website and play that if you've downloaded it and if that's the software you're going to be using. The image compositing for the Macintosh, you've got a couple links here to go to download and review some of the software. There's some images, image compositors for the Macintosh that you can click on these links and go to them to take a look at those. And you can use, of course, Photoshop. Photoshop has a automatic procedure where you can photo merge the images together in Photoshop, whether on the PC or on the Macintosh, and it has an automatic process that does that as well. And then, like here's a click for individual pictures that needed to be stitched together. So here's a sequence of images that I took in Chicago of a skyscraper, and I took the top, zoomed in on the top, and noticed I've overlapped this section here is a part of this picture, and the same here, I've got overlap by about a third. So I just did 4 of those. Usually a gigapan image is going to include a lot more than just 4 images. But you're zoomed in and you've got lots of detail that you can see. So if we wanted to take a look at a gigapan of these stitched together, I can click there and we'll come out and play this video for you and show you how it works. But you can come back and do that later also on our course website. And then I wanted to take a look at some gigapans. We haven't used any of them yet. So let's go and see how they can be useful. Here's an art display. And so I'm going to click on this one and bring that up in from the Gigapan website. And this is one that was created by Keith Rogerson. And this is in exhibition in Bristol, Savage's Art Exhibition in Wigwam 2010. And so here is the whole chenille, and zoom way out here so you can see the whole gigapan image. And now we can start zooming in. Let's take a look at the guy sitting here at the desk. And now let's take a look at some of the art. So we can come over and zoom in on some of the art that was on display there. Get a good close look at it. And then we can just kind of move over, zoom in on the detail. So you can see if you have a large exhibit of some kind and you want to have people be able to explore it, maybe even purchase some of these items, you're able to use a gigapan image for these purposes. Even way over here, we can see in this building, and even way over here in the corner, we can get a pretty good detailed image of these faraway paintings as well. And then when you want to, if you want to go full screen, when you're zooming, this double arrow here, you click, and that brings you out full screen. So you're using the full screen, you don't have that menu system there, and you can move around, and we can zoom in on some of the artifacts that are here in this building as well, and just move around. And then when you want to go back to the other method, you can do that as well. You can have people take snapshots of things. So if you wanted to do snapshots of a particular item, you could zoom in on that item. And then over here, there's a snapshot option. And you can go up and take a snapshot. And it gives you a little frame like this. You crop it. And then you describe it. You can say jugs. And you can type a description in here, many jugs. And you could put actually your website in there if you want people to come and visit your website. So you could advertise a little bit there. And it will be a hyperlink. Then you can save that. And you can see other people's snapshots as well. Cancel, I've already done that. But you come back here and take a look at the snapshots that other people have put in, and you can use the snapshots themselves to zoom around and take a look at what other people have found fascinating on this Gigapan website. So I'm going to go back to our course website here. our workshop. And let's take a look at some others here. Here's a Cardinal game. I wanted to show this to you. This was with LA. And this one was with the Cardinals versus Oakland in June. That's about 7 years ago. So here's a gigapan of the whole stadium with the audience and so on. But now watch this. Because of the high-powered lens that was used and the number of images that were created, we can zoom in and see the action on this particular play. We can also zoom back out, and let's take a look at some of the patrons that are here. So we can zoom in and get in real close to the audience and find people that we're looking for. Now, one of the interesting things is gigapans have been used in litigation. Somebody claims that they were at the ball game that day and they went by themselves. Nobody knew them. You ask them where they sat, and then you can go and zoom in on that particular seat and see if they were there. Of course, they could have got up and got a hot dog or something, I suppose, at that moment. But that is another example of the use of a gigapan image in sports as well. And then examples of snapshot zooming. We can go to this image here. Remember, we told you could take snapshots and use them. So here's one, a Cardinal game. And we can come over here and take a look at the snapshots and click on them. And it zooms in on the party that was there. And then you can zoom back out again and go to another snapshot. Here's a snapshot down here someone took of the trophy. And then you can zoom back out again. So the snapshots are interesting in that they allow you to zoom in on particular details in these gigapan images. Now, someone said, do you have to have upload these images to see them, and zoom in on them on your computer? And no, you don't. You can save them. They're huge images, 400 to 2 gigabytes in size. Save them on your hard drive, and you can use Windows Photo Viewer to zoom in right there on your computer. And you can present them off your laptop without having them up on the internet. So you can do that as well. Come down here to see some other, you can zoom in on any of these you want to, but I thought there were some interesting uses of these gigapans for like libraries and schools and studying art. St. Louis street maps in 1804, you can zoom in on that. And this is the auction table. I wanted to show you how it was used here at an auction. So this is by Steve Renich. Let's take a look. I'm going to zoom all the way out on this. So this is the auction room, and these are all items for auction at this sale. And Steve climbed up on a ladder, had a real powerful zoom lens, and he zoomed in. He probably zoomed in and just took a picture of tiny little areas and then stitched a couple hundred of these images together. So let's take a look at some of the items. We can zoom in on these sale items, and we can see these various utensils. And there's the big bad wolf, I guess. Popeye. Zoom back out again. And we can kind of come over and zoom in on this table. Now notice he got up high to be able to do this. And but then we put this up on the web, and people, before they came to the auction, or they could bid also online, they could specify the particular item they wanted, and they could actually go in on it, and they could take a picture of it, a snapshot, and put their name on that particular item. They could zoom right in and make a snapshot of the individual items that they wanted to purchase. And we're just kind of scrolling along here to take a look at all the different items. And you can zoom back out again. And then they had some furniture items over here that we can zoom in on. So if I wanted to purchase like this high chair, I could go over to snapshot, and I could create a snapshot of that particular item and put my name on it. So you can do that as well. And then these are snapshots other people did make. So I can zoom in on the items that they were interested in by clicking on these. And so on. So I can come back out of there, and then I could go in and take a snapshot of something that I particularly wanted to purchase. Maybe I want to purchase this item. Zoom in on that, and then I could put in, my name, Karl. Oops. Type here, Karl Kindt, and I could put in my bid, like I say, $5, whatever. Save it. So I could do it that way, or I could email the bid and so on. But this is one very practical use of GigaPans. So if you photographers out there wanted to make a little money, you could show this one to those who are doing auctions and say, hey, how about if I make a GigaPan like this for you to use in your sales? So that's a real practical use of a GigaPan zoomable image. And then this is a painting at the St. Louis Art Museum. I created this some time ago. And one of the things, if you're an instructor, you're teaching art class, this one is a painting by Robert French. And what I did on this one, since if I was teaching about this painting, I'd want some detail in an empty spot, and I can zoom in on the details that I took a picture of that next to the painting at the art museum. So that's there. And then I can zoom in on the detail of the painting itself. And I can actually see more detail when I'm zooming in like this than I could if I was in the art museum itself, standing there, because you have to stand 3 or 4 foot away. So it's a nice way of exploring works of art that you can't get up close to, like the Mona Lisa would be a good example of that. You can't use a tripod in most art museums. You have to hand hold. But almost all the GigaPans that I create are handheld. You just have to hold the camera in position, not moving it left, right, or up or down, and just angle it on its axis when you're taking the sequence of your pictures. So that's another example of how you can zoom in on works of art. And then this was a collage of portrait paintings at the art museum. You can zoom in on a whole bunch of paintings that way. And then this was a group GigaPan of the St. Louis Camera Club that was taken by Jim Trotter back about 9 years ago. So let's go there. And this is also a nice use of gigapanography. When you have a family reunion, you have a lot of people there. What you can do is, I'm going to go, you can have the people, like in this case, what Jim could have had you do, hold up your camera. Each one of you hold up your camera and maybe stand in a line. And then we could zoom in on you, and we could see your name tags. Here's Dale DeWitt, and we could see your camera as well. Here's Catherine DeWitt, and you could hold up photographs that you've taken, snapshots of your family. If this was a family reunion, you could actually take pictures, hold up pictures of your great-grandparents and so on, and you could zoom in as people are holding up pictures of their great-grandparents or their grandchildren, whatever, zoom in on those items as well. So that's another way of using the GigaPans in your work. And then one of the things I did is I went over to the Truman Elementary School. I did a gigapan workshop there for the young people. And when I was there, I did a gigapan of their amazing, diverse library display. Look at this. And so I made a gigapan that kids and the teachers could explore their library. So I can click here and open that up. And now I can zoom in, and I can see all the diversity that they have in here. So giant floor puzzles, the Dream, Black Heritage, some jazz, old jazz DVDs or videos. And I can zoom back out again and move over this way to see what else they have in their library. I imagine, I'm not sure what that was, but they had it there for the kids to try out. And they have microscopes that you could use, and with a little laboratory. Just an amazing diversity of items that you could scroll across and see. And then the kids from home could use these and say, I didn't know we had that in our library. That was really up high. I kind of would like maybe to check that out. You know, there's some interesting mailbox items here. So that's the teachers only area, though, apparently. So that's another example of how to make use of a gigapan image in public school systems and in libraries. As I cursor down here through all of these, and take your time to review any of these. They give you a lot of good ideas. I went to a different library, and there was a toy collection, and I clicked on. You can click there and see that. That was amazing. And then this is a Shanghai. This is a great large zoomable image of this famous city. I didn't create this one, but I wanted to show you if you make gigapans of Get Up High in St. Louis or wherever you want to make them from, get up high and just take a whole bunch of zoomed in images and stitch them together. So here is Shanghai, and we can zoom in on the neighborhoods. And we can see this guy out here, he's hanging up his clothes. And then we can move across the neighborhood and see the architecture. Zoom back out again. And just an amazing compilation of all these separate individual images that we can get up close and get a real sense of what Shanghai is like. Looks like a lot of people don't have dryers, or they like to hang things outside. Okay, so there's another example of a large city gigapan that you could explore. The rest of these, let me see if there's some others here during this video I want to get you to take a look at. Yeah, here's one here. This is of bookshelves. And what's interesting about this one is that there are hyperlinks off of some of these books. So you can go into these and take a look at the books that are there on the bookshelf, explore it. So a public library I've been working with, I'm digitizing every one of their bookshelves, and then they're going to be able to put these up online, and people can browse, not just to the digital card catalog, but they can also zoom in on the volumes and see what is there. You know how you like to walk through a library sometimes and take a look at things. So here are some snapshots, and a few of these have links to the actual books. You can zoom in on these snapshots, and there may be different links. I put a few links on some of these, if I can find some of them. I get some books here. A lot of toys here, too, that I'm zooming in on. See if I can find a book here. and zoom over. Well, anyway, every snapshot can have a link to a book review that you wanted to have people go and look at the book reviews. I'm zooming in on too many toys here. Sorry about that. But if you go to this website and you zoom in and you use some of these snapshots, you're going to find this is a book by C.S. Lewis, and you'd find some links to these books here. Okay, so a lot of fun. Enjoy zooming in on all of these. The old auto display they had in the courthouse in St. Louis. This one down here is another one to bookshelves. This is a children's book classic library. And then here's one, that Truman Library is President Obama's inauguration. Now, of course, I didn't create this one, but it's probably one of the most frequently visited. I think there's one of President Trump's inauguration as well. But instead of putting that one on here and causing all kinds of controversy, this is an older president. So we'll just zoom in and we can see the former president, well, the president then giving his address at the inauguration. We can zoom in and see the Supreme Court justices that were sitting here. And we can zoom over here and see former presidents and first ladies. And there's President Clinton and his wife and so on. And and then zoom back out again. And then there are all kinds of snapshots on this one as well. So we can click on these snapshots, and a lot of people have put themselves in there as and label themselves, so you can kind of see who's who, I guess, at the inauguration. So anyway, that's your one that you might have fun exploring as well. Now let's go over here to the side menu, and let's talk a little bit about the uploading gigapans. So if you want to upload to that website, you can download the gigapan software from gigapan.com or .org. It's free software. And then this is a video that explains how you go about using it to upload the gigapans to the website. Once you have a free membership, you have to register. You can upload as many as you like. Regarding architecture, these are some gigapans exploring some houses. For example, this house here at 5225 Lindell, maybe it's going to go up for sale. I'm just saying that. But if it did, you could click on it and you could zoom in on this particular house. And this is another place where gigapans are used in real estate. So you can offer your services to someone who doesn't know about gigapans, and you can create these gigapan images, and then you can zoom in on the home. And if you're in working for a buyer, real estate agent, they might want one to explore the details to see if there needs to be some work done, that kind of thing. So that's one use of gigapans in with regard to real estate and architecture. This is another one here, Lennox Place. What is a pixel? Now, this is a little explanation of why it's important not just to create a panorama, but to zoom in on that scene, take a picture, overlap it with another, because every image is created with these small, little, tiny pixels. The more pixels you have, of course, in an image, and that's what a gigapan is, it's billions and billions, if not trillions, of pixels, compared to, say, an image that only has maybe 1 megabyte of pixels, or 2 megabytes, or 4 megabytes. So when you zoom in on that kind of an image, like I did here on this particular portion of this photograph, we see the actual pixelization that takes place. So the small dots of paint that they're pointillism is that Seurat was one of those who was in this school. He would use little dots of paint to create his images. And that's basically all a digital photograph is. Even a photograph with emulsion, there are little tiny pieces of emulsion that are there that when you zoom in real close, even on those negatives, 8x10s, you're going to see little tiny dots of the emulsion. But the more emulsion you have, the more pixels you have, the better you can zoom in. So I use a 800 millimeter lens, 480 to 800, to create my zoomed in images. And the more zoom you have, and the higher pixel resolution you have in your camera for making these images, the better the zooming capability you will end up with. Now here's resources to download and view. So you can go to the Microsoft website here. I've got a link to it, and you can download that stitching software for free from their website. So I put that link there for you. And then there's videos about other features in ICE that you can go to that YouTube video. The ICE software and the upload software are both free. ICE has two versions. They have one for the 32-bit Windows and 64-bit Windows, and I'm hoping that you're going to have a 64-bit Windows install, because that computer is going to be a lot faster at stitching things together when you have lots of images. Maybe to know what version of Windows you have, you can go to the properties of your computer, and the version will be displayed and let you know what your version is. For those who own a Macintosh, you will need to use Photoshop's utility to merge the images together, and this is your automatic stitching video that shows you how to use Photoshop if you've got that. And then there's a manual method, and that's a manual method of stitching things together if you want to go there. And I've shown you that there's the ice stitching video that you can watch how I used it to stitch these images together here in my kitchen. So you can go there. And then these are just about other presentations I do. This is a video illustration using Gigapan about the 1904 fair. So I wanted to show, you can go to this YouTube video, and it explains how I created a Gigapan out of 4 8x10 glass plate negatives. And you can zoom in on that particular image there of the 1904 fair. So that's a pretty good one. Now the Gigapan robot, this is a good video here that you can click on that explains how that robot works. You put your camera up on there, and then I'm not going to go through it all, but this is what it looks like. You mount your camera in there. It has the ability then there's a socket here that plugs into your electronic shutter option on your camera. And then this is a programmable robot. You tell it to start taking pictures up in the right corner, and then you say, I want you to keep taking pictures to get down to this area. And you rotate the camera using the controls here to the upper right of the Gigapan you want to take, and then to the lower left. And then you push the start button, and it automatically moves the camera up to the upper right, takes a picture, and then down that column, and it makes sure that they're overlapped quite a bit so that you have, a good stitchable areas between each of the photos to make use of. And then this is a Photoshop 360 from your Gigapans, and this is a way you can do that with Photoshop as well, how you can make 360s. So if you put your camera on a tripod and you zoom in on an area around you, you can then turn the tripod, overlap all the pictures, and then when you bring them into Photoshop, you can tell it to make a 360 Gigapan as well. Excuse me. The Gigapan membership is free. And this is what you get for free if you go there for sign up. You get a customizable profile page, unlimited uploads, unlimited galleries and storage. Each of your images you're going to upload has got to be at least 200 megabytes in size. The bigger the better. So there's no limit to that. Unlimited traffic, unlimited private images, community network you get, snapshot and comments you can do on all the images, enter and vote in competitions, you can form and join groups, and you can share embedded viewers as well. And then there's support for you as well. That's all the free membership. So there's more if you want to get more professional with it, you can find out from them about that. And then this is a paper I wrote. You can look at that at your leisure. And then this is a gigapan that was taken on Mars. I thought it would be good to take a look at this. So the Mars rovers have these gigapan robots that are specialized for them by the Carnegie Mellon University Robotic Lab. And this is one that was put up for us to zoom in on. And we can see the fine detail in the dust, in the rocks on Mars. And there are a lot of these up there as well. Some of them are in 3D. And the way you can do that with a gigapan image is you have it overlap and move to the right and left just a little bit. A little bit trickier, but this is not a 3D one. It's just a zoomable image of what Mars looks like up close. All right? So this is a course website, a workshop website. And then the last one here I have is Gigapans of the World Cities. This is a really good website to go to, Gigapanoramas. This is put up by Carnegie Mellon University's Creative Labs, and you can go there and you can share with them your links and they'll put them up there as well. But these are gigapans of whole cities that you can visit. So if you wanted to go to Honolulu and zoom in on Honolulu, you can click on these links and it will bring up the gigapan images and this was a Tantalus Lookout from Hawaii. This was the gigapan that was taken there. And you can zoom in on quite a bit of detail. Now this one was taken through a window up high, and you can see a little bit of glare or some grids that were there, but some of them are that way as well when you get up real high. Okay, so anyway, this is the nutshell of what I wanted to bring to you in this workshop. And in the live workshop that I'm doing, you will be able to ask me questions, and I can go over any particular details that you might want me to delve into a little bit more. So thank you for watching.